teaching men to be self-governing, self-disciplined, self-authorizing, to stand up for what they know is right, that has honor and that has integrity, even if nobody else will. Even if they're the only guy in the family or the company or on the street or wherever they happen to be, to take a stand and to stand up and say, you know what, wherever I am, whoever I'm interacting with, I am going to interact with honor and integrity. I'm going to master myself first. It's not my job to try to make everybody else have honor and integrity, but at least I'm going to in my interactions, and I'm going to demand it from the people that interact with me. When somebody interacts with me in a manner that is dishonorable or disrespectful, I have some choices. I can withdraw from the situation and say, I'm not going to deal with that person. They don't have any integrity, and it's not my job to teach them. Or if they're one of my employees or one of my friends or somebody in my family, then maybe it is my job.
Correct.
Maybe it is my job to say, point this out and say, you know what, that doesn't work. I won't put up with it. If you interact with me in that way, there will be consequences, and the consequences are either I will fire you or ask you to leave, or I won't accept your invitations anymore. In other words, I'll take myself out of a situation, because around me, I only want to have in my life people that are close to me that have a sense of honor and integrity. Why? Because I'm sick of putting up with it, for one thing. That's on the negative side. But on the positive side, because when I have people with honor and integrity around me, I have freedom to be. I have freedom to be myself, because I know that I can be empowered by these people. Do you understand?
Yes.
You can have fun. You can loosen up. People think that if they have honor and integrity, they'll be restrained. No, no, no. People that have honor and integrity are the freest people in the world.
Okay.
Yeah? If you give your son a sense of what is right and wrong and what has dignity and what has honor, you'll give him freedom.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The people that have no boundaries, see, people think no boundaries mean freedom. They think freedom means ultimate liberty without restraint. That is not freedom. That is not freedom.
That's what happened in Iran.
Yeah, that's not freedom.
Understand what freedom means?
No, that's not freedom. That may be some kind of forced version of liberty, but freedom is an internal state that comes from knowing your boundaries. Another way that I make it easy for people to understand, when you go in your home at night and you close the doors and you close the windows, you're inside of a container, yes?
Yes.
And that container is, let's say you have an alarm system or whatever, that container has boundaries and it has integrity. The very boundaries mean to everybody else, you can't come in.
Correct.
Right? And it also means on the inside, I'm free to do as I please. It's my house.
Understood.
Right? So inside of that container, inside the boundaries of honor and integrity, you're the master. You have the freedom to do as you please inside of your own integrity, whatever has integrity for you. My life is freed up in the sense that when I don't know what to do, when I'm really confused by something, or I'm doubtful of myself, or I'm doubtful of a business transaction or anything like that, I simply have one question to ask. What has integrity? And I immediately know the answer.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
So I don't ever have to worry about it. What has integrity? That's the only question I ever have to ask myself, really. What has integrity? Not how will I get the most out of it, or how can I make this work so that I come out to my advantage, or anything like that. Just what has honor? What has integrity? What would I have somebody do, even if nobody else ever saw or knew that I was going to do the right thing? I can do the thing that has integrity because I said so.
Thank you. That is an excellent point.
If you could teach this to your son, see, I've made a business out of it, okay?
Yes.
I teach honor, integrity, and mastery workshops because I saw there was a need in our society, and because yesterday I was moved to tears because at the end of the workshop we were standing in a circle of men, And I could see and feel standing shoulder to shoulder with these men. I said, look at these men in this circle. They had all taken a vow, and this vow was to walk the path of mastery for the sake of all mankind.
Yes.
To live with honor and integrity for the sake of all mankind, for the sake of humanity. That's a sacred vow, and we had all taken this vow together. And we acknowledged each other as being men of honor in this circle of honor. And I got to tell you, man, these were men, but there were some wet eyes in there, and mine was one of them, okay? It was very, very, very moving, very powerful. And I felt like if there was a purpose to my life, that was it right there. To be able to create and generate men who would take that sense of honor and integrity out into the world, teach it to their sons, teach it to their workers, share it with each other, and live that way, whether anybody else does or not. You may not know another single human being that is willing to live with honor and integrity, but if you are, that's all that's enough.
Right.
You know, so if you could give that to your son, that would be the greatest gift you could give him. And I got to tell you, I didn't get to be able to stand in that circle with those men last night without having put them through some strenuous and challenging circumstances into where they got that's what they chose, not because I chose it, not because I imposed it, not because I said you must do this, but because that's what they wanted more than anything in the world.
Yeah.
And they were willing to they would rather pay the consequences of having honor, because sometimes honor can get you in trouble, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes people want you to do something that's dishonorable, and if you won't go along with them, they may have you have some consequences.
And sometimes honor, having or not having honor, it's really a definition that you have to give it.
It's up to you anyhow, right?
That you value,
exactly.
Honorable or not honorable.
That's right. Only you can decide what's honorable.
War, I choose to go to war or not to go to war. It depends on what I honorable. Going to war and killing somebody may not be an honorable thing to me, but going to war and defending my country may be an honorable thing to me.
Exactly. I would not participate in the Vietnam War. I refused to, because it was a dishonorable war. And men that I knew who had been in World War II, which they considered that an honorable war. They were fighting against Nazis and people that had come over and bombed us, and they were trying to save our country from being invaded and taken over by somebody else, and they considered that honorable, and I do too.